Good morning. Hope you're all well. And I am back today on the Curated by Dapper Suave, and not Dapper Suave. Apologies, yesterday I don't know what was happening at the beginning, and obviously I went on to Dapper Suave instead of my own, instead of Curated, but we managed to move it all over, which was really good. So yeah, let me request and see if Gary's there. There we go already. And there we go. Problems this morning with connections. I know that Gary's on holiday, which is great. So he swapped as well, which is great because when I did the dates and everything, I think I'd done something wrong. Oh, there we go.
Oh no, hang on a minute.
Oh, there we go. That's the kitchen.
Oh, that's the kitchen again.
That's the kitchen.
Hi, Jason. It's not my kitchen, mate. We're on holiday this week.
That's why you're showing it off, isn't it?
Indeed.
Fantastic. So please introduce yourself and your business and what you make and sell.
Hi, Jason. Right, yes, my name's Gary. I am the bloke. It's back to front probably on Instagram. And my company, Stuff By The Bloke. And I make the lamps mainly out of copper, but I also upcycle items like bottles, fire extinguishers, books, blow torches, anything I think I can make a lamp out of, I'll give it a bash. And of late, I've started using copper sheet and scrap copper to do a little bit of sculpting. I'm just starting out on that, but predominantly it's lamps that I make and sell.
Fantastic. And why did you set up your business, and how did you come up with the name? Probably crazy.
Right, so this is all going to jump about a little bit. So I've got some notes written down in front of me because it's important that I get a few things in there. So my girlfriend, who you know, Emma, she does silver jewellery, and I used to tag along to fairs with her and help her out. And it was when I was there, and this is absolutely nothing. I've got nothing against other stall holders, what you guys do, and why you do it. But when I was at these fairs, sitting beside Emma while she was selling her stuff, I was very conscious of men, husbands, boyfriends, going around fairs, maybe being dragged around fairs by their other halves. And they were very dejected, very down, and it was sad to see. And I thought to myself, these guys need saving. They need a saviour. They need something to look at themselves when they're going around these fairs. So I went home, had a bit of a Google, and came across lamps being made out of copper pipe. So I thought I'd give it a bash, and that's really how it all started. Again, the name Stuff By The Bloke was dreamt up by Emma, and it's quite nice because early days I used to make different stuff.
Yep.
I now make this stuff, and in the future, who knows? So I don't have to change the name at any point. I can just make stuff, and the name will stay with me. So. Yeah, that's how it all came to part.
Cool, and I like what you were saying there, and something that we've managed to do is Curated, where the guys come along and they don't want to be there, and like you said, we're now looking for lots of people to join us, and we've got a lot more mail makers, as I call them, which is really great. And I've had a couple of occasions where some guys have actually come up to me and said, usually I wouldn't like this, but I really like that and I really like that. So that's what's really great, isn't it? We've got to have an event which is curated, but it's for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. And when we go to fairs, myself and Emma, we normally go as a pair.
Yeah.
And more often than not, we'll be side by side, and it's quite nice when the women go along to her silver jewellery stall and they're looking at all her shiny goodness, and the chaps will stand and talk to me. I'll be honest with you, I don't care if I don't sell anything. It's just that engagement and making people smile, and having a chat with the blokes while their wives are spending their money on the stall beside me.
Exactly. Ching, ching, ching. And it's really good. Like I say, we've got the woodwork, we've got the metalwork, we've got the beard oil, we've got the guys that do coffees, we've got the guys that do the plants. So jewelry guys, and also what's lovely is we've got the guys that come along with their wives or their girlfriends who are there part of their business, and it's really nice to see. Like Bake It Yummy that you met, and she's there with her husband, but they're there as a team, and that's what's really great when you see working together. You don't want to have somebody there that doesn't want to be there. They're just there because they're being dragged along.
Yeah,
that's what's really nice when you see. So whereabouts are you based, and where is your workspace?
So I'm based in Welwyn Garden City in Hertfordshire. So when I come down to Dorking, it's a bit of a trip, but it's definitely worth it. And my workspace, much to my son's disgust, and I live in a 2-bedroom flat, so I haven't got that beauty of having a bit of outdoor space, a shed, or an extra room. So my workspace is a bit of wood across my oven top, which means that we don't get fed for the day. Or it means that I've got to pack everything away if we do want to eat and don't want to have a takeout. So yeah, kitchen. It's not an ideal space, but it's all I've got available.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've got to make do with what you got, haven't you?
Yeah, indeed. Definitely. You know, sometimes I leave stuff out and he hates it because he can't have breakfast in the morning. But it's tough, yeah.
Exactly. I like that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you've got to make stuff. He can, fend for himself, can't he?
Indeed.
So, have you a favourite item to create, and why have you chosen that? I know that a lot of people find this one hard, but I always like.
Yeah, no. So like I said earlier on, Jason, I think I get a lot of pleasure out of making people smile when they stop by my stall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially, and it's both parties, men and women, will come along. They'll pause. The lights will attract them. They'll stand there. They might not even engage in any conversation. They'll just stand there and almost be lost in thought and have a smile.
Yeah.
The one thing that I do get a lot of attention of is this chap here.
Yep.
The sitting down man lamp. Kids will spot this and they'll say, "Oh, look, mummy, look, it's a little man sitting down there." So this one's always quite popular and a quick conversation piece. You know what I mean? It will start to get people engaged and talking about, you know, is that really copper? You know, are you soldering it together? Do you do it all yourself? You know what I mean? I literally do it all myself, even down to the wiring and the pack testing. So yeah, I mean, he's my go-to. I always try and make sure I've got one or two of them available when I go to fairs, because they're always popular. And like I say, I just want something that will, you know, I do bigger ones that will stop, like, you know, big pieces. But it's nice conversation start when people come along and spot it.
And what's great with you as well, isn't it, is when the guys come along and meet you as well, there might be something bespoke they might want as well. Yeah.
I've done a few commissions. Friend of mine, his dad used to be a welder, and he had all the old gauges and mixer taps and the gun sort of thing. And his dad retired, and he found it in his shed, and he said to me, "Can you do something with it?" And he said, "You know, I'll leave it entirely in your hands. do what you can."
Yeah.
And I used them all, used all the bits, and made a lamp out for him for his dad. He's got that earmarked already though. So Rob Evans, if you're listening in, that's your lamp, mate.
And it is good, isn't it? I think as well, especially nowadays, it's really great to use things and upcycle, recycle. I think more than anything now, we're really kind of looking to take care of the world. And if there is something, and obviously what you do, and when kids see what you're doing, is to actually not be in that throwaway environment that we're in. Something that you've got can necessarily be made into something else, which is really quite important message to get out there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Jason, as well. The copper pipe that I get, 9 out of 10 times, I end up having to buy it new from Screwfix. Yeah. And it's actually cheaper to buy it from Screwfix than it is to go down to the scrap metal man.
Right.
But more and more people now, as they're having work done in their house and boilers replaced and things like that, will get a phone call saying, "Look, the guys have left a load of copper pipe in the garden. Do you want to come and help yourself?" So, you know what I mean? So there is that element of recycling it, but I am conscious on that aspect of what I do, of course.
Yeah, I bet you're one of these guys, when you walk past a skip, you're like, "What? Just have a
always." I always have a little peek in there. Is there any copper? Is there anything I can make lights out of? You know what I mean? in the middle of the night, I've been known to go around looking people's glass bottle banks before recycling day just to see if they've been on the gin and is there any nice gin bottles in there that I can make lamps out of. So it's all it's all good stuff. It's all good
exactly.
stuff.
And you know, people watching this, if they're coming along, you know, and they've got some really cool bottles, then you know, Gary's your man. It is, isn't it? When you've got that nice bottle or something, you think, oh, that's really nice, and what you know, it can be used for something else. That's really
yeah. Again, I've done some commissions, people. I mean, the only thing is, if you've got a bottle that means something to you, part of the process is I have to drill a hole into it for the cord.
Yes.
And that's always a dodgy moment. But I've done commissions for people with nice vodka bottles that they wanted upcycled. And I think it was a champagne bottle that somebody had at their wedding that they wanted as a memento sort of thing. So yeah, it's all doable.
All doable. Yeah, definitely. So we have an ethos.
You missed one out, Jason.
I jumped on them. Have you been working on any? Sorry, have you been working on anything new at all?
It's funny you should say that, because again, I've got a flower here. So I've been working on a bit of sculpting, like I said.
Yeah.
I've got either a pair of daffodils or a single daffodil there.
Wow.
So again, this is mainly copper pipe. There's a bit of copper sheet in there. And there is a story behind this. And I've just got to say this as well. The guy would have been online today. He's a blacksmith in Scotland.
Yeah.
Kev Paxton is his name.
Yeah.
And he's filming today for Money for Nothing. So that's why he isn't here.
Oh, right.
But he did say to me he'll try and catch up. And I was lucky enough through my girlfriend, through Emma, to spend a day with Kev. Yeah. And we sculpted a daffodil out of steel. And I've been meaning to do it for years. Like I say, I met him about 3 years ago, and it's only recently that I've done that. So I've taken my inspiration from Kev there, and he was a big turning point in my life as Kev. We still touch base now and again, but after meeting that guy, I was working in IT for 30 years. I met him. I was going through a little bit of a wobble at work, came back home and chucked it in, and it's all down and thanks to Kev. So some people might look at that as a negative after working somewhere for 30 years. But I've started to enjoy myself a little bit more. Yeah, I've been in and out of work. You know, this isn't a business for me. Making lamps isn't a business, it's a hobby. Yeah. So I've got a 9 to 5, but I've got a lot to thank Kev and the Art FE boys in Edinburgh for. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I want to branch out, like I say, you know, a bit of sculpting, it's something different. And I appreciate what I do isn't everybody's cup of tea, and it's trying to capture your audience a bit more, make what you do more appealing to a wide range of people. Because it's a numbers game at the end of the day that we're all tinkering with. If you're doing a range of products like you guys do, or you've got other things to sell, you're attracting more people, you've got potentially a better chance of making a sale.
Mm. And it's really great, because I remember you telling us about the guy with the workshop, and you know, this is when you actually did it. So it's really nice. It's taken you this long, but also, you know, it's put the sort of fire in your belly as such, hasn't it? Which is, and I keep talking about, it's really great when people have those mentors, or if what they're doing is that they research it, they do workshops, so that they're doing it properly, because as we know, there are some businesses out there who don't do it correctly. And I know one for you, and we've got something in our house, a copper sort of thing, and you kind of looked at it and it wasn't soldered properly, and it'd been put together with glue and things like that. So, you know, you really look into it. And also what's great is you saying with your business, but you look at Stuff By The Bloke as a business. It's a hobby, but you care a lot about it, don't you?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
and I'm also one, Jason, for like to giving a bit back. You know what I mean? I do a lot of running. I don't run competitively as I used to, but I'm a coach to a local club, and I like to give a bit back. And it's much the same as this. You know what I mean? I'm looking at maybe doing one-to-one workshops, and just to get somebody to come along, spend a day with me, and make a lamp or make a daffodil, just so you can pass on not necessarily that expertise, but that joy of making something from nothing almost, and having an end product at the end of the day. And that's when I spent the day with Kev. That was what we did. You know what I mean? We started with scrap, and ended up with a sculpture,
Yeah.
and it's very fulfilling.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
That you do, you know what I mean? That you've got this finished item.
Yeah, and it's no matter whatever it is, isn't it? It's that bit of seeing something that's nothing, and then you go, oh, actually, I've made that, and it's a really great feeling. I mean, I think with all of what we do, it's, you know, from it being sewing, art, cooking, we're all doing something that we enjoy and love, which is really great. So, as you know, we have an ethos about being unique, creative, and friendly. There we go. I've done it all properly today. Usually I get tongue-tied with it. Blah, blah, blah. Is there a kind of ethos or a saying or anything that you kind of work with or go by?
I think I wouldn't say so much an ethos.
Yep.
It's very important to me, though, that I enjoy doing what I do.
Yeah.
And it's the same as anything in life, be it business, be it hobby. When things start to become a chore, you start to lose interest. You stop being so positive. Yeah, I have gone through a little bit of a dip lately, but I've got to pull my finger out and start doing things. But it's just coming up with new ideas, generating new ideas, talking to people all the time. You know, even customers. Sometimes when I'm talking to customers, it's almost like a switch going on, and it will generate a new idea, and it'll be right. I can't wait to get home and try that tomorrow or try that this evening, sort of thing. So ethos is just to carry on enjoying what I'm doing.
Cool.
And you guys would have come across this as well. It's all about people that get it. You know what I mean? When you go to fairs, some people will just walk straight past your stall, and other people will stop and have a chat. And it's capturing them people that we always say that get what it is that you're doing. Yeah. And capturing them, sort of thing.
We were saying that just yesterday with when we were at Ewhurst. You know, out of it we had 28 people that bought from us out of, you know, how many people were there. But it was more important about those people understood what we were about, and those people that walked past or didn't come over. Fine, you know, I'm not going to take it personally, and also it's when you engage and talk to those customers, isn't it, that you find out a bit more. One thing I just wanted to put in there was last year, obviously all of what you've been through was, I think one of the highlights of last year when you were at our event was Kelly from the box office bought 2 of your lamps, and you were just so, I think it was just that whole thing that, you know, that she bought those, you know, that she bought 2 of them, and you were on cloud 9, and that was so, you know, hard for me because I really wanted to give you a big hug, and I couldn't. And
you should have, Jason,
because you were just on cloud 9, and it was just so nice to see because, you know, sometimes with you as well, and we've got like Bodge & Co, and they come along, they've got their lamps. And sometimes they might not sell anything, you know, and, you know, it's getting the word out there or the commission. So, yeah, that was just...
I mean, like you say, it's always, yes, I love selling. We all love selling stuff. Yeah. But it is special when someone buys 2 of your items in one go. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's, you know, you've hit a spot. You know they understand it. I've done it a few times. And it's always nice, like I say, it's these people that get it. You know, we all have people walk past our stalls or stand on your stall, and as they walk away, you hear them utter them words, "Oh, I can do that." Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm not stopping anybody doing what I do. Yeah, giving it a bash. Yeah. And people, some of the people look at the prices, and it's like, ooh, but you wouldn't dream of a plumber coming into your house to fix a tripping tap, and you wouldn't think twice paying him £100 for being there for half an hour. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's all around this experience and the knowledge that this person's gained. It's that you're paying for. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's all very relative. But yeah, I mean, by all means, if anyone's out there and you want to make copper lamps, give me a shout. I'm quite happy to partake my knowledge and wisdom with you and give it a go.
Excellent. So based on that, what would be kind of your goals and dreams for Stuff by the Bloke for the future?
So obviously, ultimately, and it's the same for everybody, you want to make a living out of it. Yeah, the idea of making a living out of doing something you enjoy and passionate about is got to be everybody's aim. Unfortunately, probably not at this moment in time. So it's the 9 to 5, which, if anybody at work's listening in, I don't love it. Let's face it. You know what I mean? But it pays the bills and it keeps the roof over the head. Yeah. But juggling Stuff by the Bloke and the 9 to 5 is certainly the aim. My website, I've desperately got to sort the website out and bring that up to date and be a bit more proactive there. I'm looking at a couple of shops, possibly putting some of my wares in.
Cool.
And like I said earlier, the one-to-ones, I really want to try and promote that and see if that goes somewhere. You know what I mean? There's no harm in trying.
Yeah.
See if I can get one or two people to take up that opportunity to make something with me on a Saturday, maybe, and see how that goes.
Yeah.
So that's the aims for the next, short, medium, and long-termish sort of thing.
Yeah. No, that sounds. I mean, I can just imagine, a son with his. A dad with his son or his daughter that want to get involved with just finding out about things. It's funny when you look back at school when you did woodwork and metalwork and all of that sort of stuff. And I don't even know if kids do any of that anymore. As I keep saying at the moment, I think what we learned in school didn't really help us. And I think teaching kids about a lot of different things and how to be creative is what we need to do to sort out the future generation, I believe. So, about learning to make things as well, and not being afraid to have that creative juices, as they say. So, who would you say is your support network?
So probably much the same as everybody else, friends and family, other stall holders and craft makers. You know what I mean? It's a big community out there.
Yeah.
And it's, sharing ideas, sharing knowledge. How do I do this? We've all got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A couple of craft fairs that me and Emma have been to recently, people are there for their first craft fair and they're really anxious.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know what I mean? We've all got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's past, again, I can't emphasize enough. I like giving back as much as I can, because people have done exactly the same for me. So it's putting these people at rest and saying to them, there's nothing to worry about. Just engage in the conversation, hand out a business card, and the next person will come along. We've all got our spill. You know this as well.
Yeah.
And you'll have the same conversation 100 times in the same day. But to that person coming to your stall, that's unique. That's the only time they're going to hear it that day, because they're talking to you, and they go off and the next person comes along and you have that same conversation again.
Yeah.
So support wise, other craft holders, friends, family. And like I said, Kev at RFE, I don't make what he does, because he does it on, he's making life-size Highland cattle and life-size figures and things like this. But I know he's there. If I ever want to touch base with him and ask him some advice, I cannot emphasize enough what sort of guy he is. So I know he's there to have a quick chinwag with if need be.
Cool, yeah, and it's important. I mean, what you've just sort of hit on there, isn't it, with these brand new people and whatever, and it's more about them, their product and their brand, and there's nothing worse. And we've all been there. We've stood there with a stall holder and there's no conversation, or you try to engage in the conversation and nothing comes back. And it's really like, oh my God, this is really like, you ask them a question and they just sort of one answer, they just do a one word back to you. And it is about, and having that confidence, which is really, for some people, is quite hard. But once you get going with it and you've got the support of everyone around you, it's
exactly.
it is, isn't it? Yeah, and there are, and that's what I do. I go to some events and, I've seen some people go, wow, I love the product, I love the brand. And then all of a sudden I've stood there and they totally ignored me, or they just carried on talking to the stallholder, thinking you've just lost A, a customer, and B, potential to work with us. And, then you just move on and you just think, I don't want that kind of person that's going to ignore a customer and just carry on talking. There's time for that. You're here to, as I say, you're here to work. This is your hobby, your business, and for some people it is actually their jobs. It's my profession.
Exactly.
I do take it a little bit more seriously now. And I think people
I normally wait for them to come along to the stall and either point or smile. Yeah. And at that point, that you've captured their attention, and you can start that conversation of what you're looking at, why'd you look at it? I can tell you a bit about it, sort of thing.
Yeah. And
so
one thing I used to do in French Connection sometimes, if we were talking about something, we would sometimes involve the customers. And the next minute you'd be talking and like you'd be there chatting about Christ knows what, but the customer would feel really comfortable that they're involved in that conversation with you. And that's sometimes how you can entice a customer in, by then getting relaxed and then seeing what you're doing. So, yeah. So there we go. Lots of messages there, which is great. So what events are you doing with Curated by Dapper Suave?
So this year I'm doing your November and December.
Yep.
So people down in Dorking will get two chances to see what I've got. So do come by and say hello. If there is something that you want, get for Christmas, give me a shout in November, because I will be back in December. But obviously, you know, things take time. So yeah, it's just trying to squeeze everything in, get things made. I must admit, since I came down and did your Christmas one last year, again, I've been a little bit lax. I've really got to start making stuff in preparation for Christmas already. I don't like saying that, but there we go. It's not far away if you're making stuff that takes time to do. So yeah,
you know, I sat there yesterday. Where has this year gone? It just seems to have just whizzed by. We last night we had our we had a Zoom chat with the September people. There was about 16 of on. I know that a lot of people were on holiday and couldn't make it. But it was a really nice experience just to see all these people finally, and we had a really good chat. We'll be carrying on that for each event, and it's just that little extra thing that we give, and it was really nice. So just sharing all of that information that I can talk about and then share it as well, so they get what our events are about, and that they know that they're a little bit different from other events. So one question I'm going to ask, and probably I know as well, you've been with us since 2017, haven't you? So why did you choose to work with us, and why? And another question I'm going to ask: why have you stayed with us? Give me right from the beginning.
You spot what I've got written down in my notes now, because I was going to say, well, you know, you say about why did you join us? So I was going to say, well, why back in 2017 did this group called Handpicked for Dorking approach me?
Yeah.
Because like you say, Jason, that's how it all started. Known you and Rob through Emma from 2017, and you guys obviously saw this gap in Dorking for doing fairs. You created Handpicked for Dorking. And like I said earlier, everyone's got to start somewhere. And so you obviously put your feelers out. Who do you know that do craft fairs and that? You knew Emma did, you knew I did, and it was just having that safe environment for your first few fairs that you could see. You see how it takes off. One thing, and I know it's your business now. This is Curated by Dapper Suave, and it's very obvious to me how passionate you guys are about doing what you do. You started off small. You haven't jumped in both feet, and you know you've slowly worked your way up to where you are today, and that's important. You know, a lot of people make that mistake of going too fast too quickly. But it's obvious to me how passionate you and Rob are about this, and you guys spend a lot of time behind the scenes organising stuff. You're not, and this might upset a few people. You're not in it to line your pockets. Right? Is the way that I see it. Yeah. Other people might interpret it differently, but this is personally how I view it. Yes, you're running a business. Yes, you need to pay your bills, sort of thing. Fully appreciate that, but you put in just as much as what you take out. You guys spend a lot of time doing these 10 at 10s, the promotion side of things, the advertising. You know, you go to some fairs and you might not even see the organizer. And you know, I've been to a few fairs like that, and it's really not on. You guys are there. You're wandering around. You're making sure that everybody's happy. Yeah, I mean, you're just passionate. You're happy. You're very conscious, I think, as well. You have a nice range of stall holders. Yes, jewellery's popular. Yes, candles are popular, but there's different elements of that as well. You can have 2 or 3 different jewellery people because they do different styles. But I think, again, you guys are conscious of that. You want a nice range of stalls. that people have got a choice to look at them when they're walking around. You get other events where they don't care. As long as they fill the space, they'll throw anybody in there, sort of thing. No, so that's it. One good thing as well that I do like, and I was a little bit dubious first of all, and it was all around the pandemic side of things, was doing the ticket allocation.
Yeah.
At the hall, but I think that works really, really well. I must say to you, even if I think we open up fully, I'd still like to see you guys contemplating that, because you're guaranteed of a constant footfall throughout the day.
Yeah.
It's not like some fairs where you have people queuing up for a 10 o'clock start and you have a mad rush 10 till 12 and then you don't see anybody for the rest of the day. It gets a bit dejected, you know what I mean? But if you're selling 100 tickets in half-hour slots or hour slots, you're guaranteed of a steady footfall throughout the day, and I think it works really, really well.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's one thing that we decided, and that was the feedback from you guys. And and I must say as well, I've been to a few events, and you have to pay. It can be anything from £1 to £2.50. All of our events have remained free, and that is something that we have talked about. And it might be that, I don't know, it's something, if we do, it might be that money might go to charity or something like that, but just to get people in. But I don't, as I stand at the moment, all our events will remain free. And it might be something we might ask people, if we were, because it almost gets people then to buying the tickets as well, isn't it? That they're committing, they put some money instead of, I'll just buy a ticket and not turn up, because unfortunately that does happen. And at Christmas we had that opportunity where there was a lot of people who just didn't turn up. So we have to make sure that people are aware that if you're not going to turn up, cancel your tickets. But obviously now it is different because we haven't got the social distancing, so we can open up as many people as we like as such in time slots throughout the day, but we're still going to time slot it. So yeah, that as I say, everyone is really pleased with that, and that's something that we are paying for now. Something that we think is important for you as an exhibitor, and also as a customer to feel comfortable in crowds. I think people would absolutely freak still at the moment, wouldn't they? We have to make sure we're all comfortable. And as I said yesterday, if the stallholders want to wear face masks, it's entirely up to them. If the visitors, that is your choice. I'm not going to put pressure onto anyone. When you go to the supermarket, it's quite bizarre. Wear your face mask, and a lot of people aren't now. But that's, I can't make people, so we all have a choice in life. So yeah, thank you for that. That's really lovely what you just said.
No problem.
And really, really great to talk to you. As I say, guys, if you are looking for any commission work and whatever, you can get Gary to make that, and free delivery. You can come and collect it at the November event. There we go. There's a little enticer for people at Christmas. This video will go onto our Instagram TV, onto our YouTube channel. So go on and subscribe. And tomorrow we are with Little Green Studios, and then that's it for this series tomorrow. Have a little break, and then we're back on the 23rd, and we will be having some more 10 at 10s in September. There were some people that have joined us that I think will go really, that just need to find out their story. And what's lovely, they'll be doing September, and then they'll be back for October, so we can find out what they thought of September. No pressure. Right, well, enjoy the rest of your holiday, because you're on holiday at the moment, aren't you?
Sorry?
You're on holiday at the moment.
Yes, we're in the Cotswolds. We're staying at my cousin's renovated cottage. Really nice. The Thames is just outside the front door, as a little stream, so it's really nice.
Lovely. Is there a local pub?
Yeah, we went there last night for steak, and it's quite interesting to say, people were walking in, Jason, without face masks.
Yeah.
Me and Emma had a face mask on as we went in there, but people were just going in and out, without, and it's really bizarre, you know what I mean? But
yeah. Exactly.
I think that's where we are. That's where we are now. So
it's about keeping yourself safe. I think that's more important, isn't it? And people, they can do what they want to do, but as long as we, as people, we stay safe, then we'll be all right. Cool. Well, we'll see you in November. November the 14th, and really, really great to talk to you. Enjoy the Cotswolds. And
will do, buddy.
Speak soon. Take care. Bye bye.
See you later. See ya. Bye.